Nigeria needs an estimated $800 billion annually for the next 10 years to close the gap of infrastructure deficit caused by vandalism. That's according to the Nigeria Society of Engineers. And they stated this at a workshop on public infrastructure vandalism in the nation's capital. Their conversations make up our FCT in Focus, and you will want to watch that conversation. My guest on the program helps us understand the sheer scale of this crime and the impact it has on the nation and its people. Meanwhile, we had a very busy week in the nation's capital, and all the details are presented in this week's episode of our Abuja Wrap. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. Let's begin with the major stories making the rounds this week in the Tinubu presidency on our Abuja Wrap.
3 newly appointed ministers have been sworn in by President Bola Tinubu during the second Federal Executive Council meeting under his administration. The ministers are Dr. Jumaila Bio Ibrahim, who is the Minister of Youth Development, Mr. Ayodele Olawande is the Minister of State for Youth, and Mr. Balarabe Lawal, who is the Minister of Environment. The Council approved an aggregate expenditure of 26.1 trillion naira for the 2024 appropriation bill that will be sent to the National Assembly for consideration.
The assumptions include oil price benchmark, which I said for 2024 we are assuming 73.96, oil production of 1.78 million barrels a day, exchange rate of 700, then the inflation of 21% and GDP growth rate of 3.76%. The aggregate expenditure is estimated at 26.01 trillion naira for the 2024 budget.
The president has flagged off the conditional cash transfer program, under which 50 million vulnerable households will be provided 25,000 naira on a monthly basis for 3 months. The secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, represented the president at the event.
The government is working to develop and deploy several more solutions and interventions to help Nigerians of all walks of life. These include A. Investment of 100 billion to purchase 3,000 units of 20-seater compressed natural gas powered buses. Investment of 200 billion naira to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland to improve food security.
Nigeria has signed agreements of $2 billion with some Chinese firms, including a deal for the construction of the Lekki Blue Seaport contract at the Lekki Free Trade Zone in Lagos. The agreements were reached on the sidelines of the ongoing Belt and Road Initiative Forum in Beijing, China, where Vice President Kashim Shettima is representing President Bola Tinubu.
We have secured funding for some of our major railway projects in the country, the Lagos-Ibadan-Kano route, and also the Kano-Kaduna railway line. And most importantly, we have succeeded in upgrading our relationship to a comprehensive partnership agreement, which will certainly open a vista of opportunities for mutually beneficial relationships between our two nations.
The Senate Committee on Navy has expressed displeasure in the inability of the Navy to safeguard the nation's oil assets in the Niger Delta. Speaking at the inaugural meeting of the committee, the chairman, Mr. Gbenga Daniel, decried a situation where the country had to engage non-state actors in the policing of its assets, despite having security agencies primarily saddled with that responsibility. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is urging the President to urgently appoint an Auditor General of the Federation for smooth operation of the office in line with the Constitution. Mr. Benjamin Kalu stated this when he represented the Speaker at the unveiling of the Public Accounts Committee of the House.
We cannot afford to have an acting director, overseeing director, or in whatever nomenclature he is described to occupy that all-important position. So this is a call to Mr. President to look into confirming the person who is there now or anybody of his choice to take up the role of the Director General of this country, it will send the right signal out that this government is really ready to pursue taxpayers' money.
And the House of Representatives has confirmed the nominees of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The House approved the nominations of the board chairman and 16 others after adopting the report of its ad hoc committee, which carried out the screening exercise. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has threatened to shut down illegal motor parks operating in the nation's capital due to the rise in incidents of one-chance robbery in the city. Mr. Wike made the statement during a media chat in his office in Abuja.
We can't allow some of these illegal motor parks. People will come up to us, oh, well, the economy is hard, things are tough, but nobody wants to look at the foreign security implication because we cannot ask who are these people. And so when you clamp down on them, you will see some kind of people, that you don't want people to survive. We know you should survive, but not at the risk of committing a crime. So we're also trying to shut down most of these illegal motorbikes.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control says it has recorded 15,060 suspected cases of diphtheria in the country. Out of this figure, 9,478 confirmed cases from 137 local government areas in 20 states, including the FCT. According to the Director General of the agency, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, Kano State has the highest number with over 80%.
Welcome back. If you scan the FCT environs, you'll come across infrastructure constantly vandalized. Traffic light fixtures, manholes, rail tracks. There's nothing people won't steal in the name of hunger in the land. And as the population of Abuja continues to rise, so do the frequencies of these crimes. There are reports that show collaboration between Boko Haram and bandits orchestrating coordinated attacks and the activities of vandals continually destroying vital infrastructure meant to better the living standards of tax-paying Nigerians. These are acts of sabotage. Please watch this.
Thank you very much.
Stakeholders drawn from the engineering sector and security agencies are here for a workshop to discuss the challenges and dangers of vandalism of public infrastructure by criminals within the Federal Capital Territory and Nigeria as a whole. The increasing rate of vandalism and Nigeria's infrastructure deficit remains a critical issue that continues to undermine the country's economic growth, straining efforts by the government to meet the infrastructure needs of its people. Abuse and vandalism of public infrastructure offsets productivity and sustainable livelihoods. Some of these activities include stealing of communication cables, manholes, cutting of railway tracks, stealing bridge rails, among other crimes. The Nigerian Society of Engineers says an estimated $800 billion annually is needed for the next 10 years to bridge Nigeria's infrastructure gap.
Infrastructural development is pivotal in enhancing economic growth, improving living standards, reducing poverty, and contributing to environmental sustainability. It is also an established fact that the place of any country in this technological age in terms of sustainable economic growth and development is predicated on the state of its infrastructures. Infrastructure is crucial for development. It provides the services that enable society to function and economies to thrive. Nigeria's infrastructure deficit remains a critical bottleneck that continues to undermine the country's economic potential. It is estimated that the country will require about $800 billion annually for 10 years to close this gap. This deficit has contributed to limiting Nigeria's growth potential and competitive abilities globally, despite the inadequacy of infrastructural provision and the enormous challenges it poses to our socio-economic growth and development. It is unthinkable that the few provided infrastructure are vandalized daily by some unscrupulous and unconscionable elements and economic saboteurs. These activities have degenerated beyond the bounds of propriety and good taste. Hence, they pose a great danger to the efforts of the government and the lives of many Nigerians.
The representative of the Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Agency speaks on the dangers and aftermath of vandalism.
Vandalism of overhead underground electrical and telecom cables is also on the rise, with vandals making the streets of the FCT dark, causing security risks. Stripping off the insulation of wires in a bid to get the copper material is another new trend. They have become so daring that they operate even in transformers, not minding the consequences. This is a serious economic threat as it causes job losses, security and safety risks, as well as technological deficit and epileptic power supply. In this case, you know, anybody, most people that do go for this, they are not laymen. They are people who know what they are doing. At times, even the staff of the contractor who has installed the facility will come back in the night to vandalize it. The security agencies, with their mandate of protecting critical infrastructure, should also endeavor to scale up their activities of tackling this ugly menace.
During the panel discussion, the security agencies present narrate the challenges they encounter and measures taken to end infrastructure vandalism.
We should be able to do things for ourselves as a nation. People should see something and say something. Let's fight that common enemy. Engineer can bear me witness, the FCT man. 2 days, I'm sorry to say this, to the inauguration of the present administration, Mr. President, go around the whole Eagle Square. All the manual covers were removed. But as busy as that Eagle Square is, the road is, up to 2 a.m. vehicles are plying. Yet, some people will summon courage to go and do that. Look at the transformers. I was taken aback when they said the oil in it, people go for it to fry akara and so on and so forth. What is the meaning of this? Endangering your own life. So these are some of the things, no.
Majorly the issue we have in this country is patriotism. There wouldn't have been need for all of this vandalism and what have you if Nigerians ordinarily were patriotic to their country. We always hinge our level of patriotism to what we think we can get from the system. We don't always think along the line of what you can give back to the system. And so that has been a major challenge. That's why you find a lot of whatever it is that we have installed to help us navigate, our systems, to help us navigate our cities, they are vandalized. An average Nigerian will see somebody committing an offense. You see Mebola dumping refuse into a bridge. An average Nigerian will even greet him and pass. He doesn't think it is his responsibility to tell that Mebola that what you are doing, you are creating a problem for me. Because by the time the drainages are blocked, all of us will suffer for it. So he doesn't know that whatever goes around comes around. So we have that major challenge. But then, electronically, there are ways world over where these kind of things are checked. I know that you can use electronic monitoring systems, to check vandalism. You can interface hardware and software facility, to be able to create alert systems, with a maybe control center somewhere that gets that control center alerted. And then the relevant agency concerned can be informed to take immediate action. If you use manual labor in dealing with a lot of these things, we will have a long way to go.
Vandalism of infrastructure is a crime against the country and a clear sign of an unpatriotic citizen, endangering their lives and the lives of others for financial gains and lowering the quality of life of Nigerians for personal enrichment. My guests on the program are the Director, Engineering Infrastructure Rehabilitation at the FCTA and the Director, Engineering Services at the FCTA, Engineer Jato Abdul Karim and Engineer Obiora Ferdinande Zonha. As members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, they have many thoughts on the scale of these vandalizations and the impact it is having on the country. As directors in the FCTA, we try to find out preventive and punitive measures in place to handle this situation. Engineer Jato, Engineer Obiora, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk a bit about this vandalism thing. It seems like a very unpatriotic thing to do and dangerous thing to do. It's always so strange when we hear about these things, and we see them on social media all the time. The last time we saw someone, but not in the FCT though, the person was taking manhole covers.
It's in the FCT.
It was in the FCT.
It was in the FCT?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was.
It's in FCT, in Jabi district.
In Jabi
I was there
district.
precisely.
It was in
I
Jabi? Wait, let's see. Are we talking the person in the Sienna car?
Yes.
Yes.
It was in Jabi.
It was in Jabi. Luckily, the owner of the premises had a CCTV.
The CCTV that captured
it.
So,
But unfortunately
I
for us,
kept thinking that was in Lagos.
No.
It's mostly in FCT you get such facilities.
Yeah.
In Lagos, you see them around Festac areas and all that. It's not all over Lagos.
Ikeja.
It's not, and the Ikeja area is not so common. But it's only in FCT you have such facilities.
Tell me about that incident in Jabi.
No, what happened was that one of our deputy director, the person that saw it, captured it and maybe posted it online. And somebody sent it to one of our officers, who now forwarded it to each and every one of us. So our boss, the executive secretary, now directed him to
That's
go.
Engineer Hadi.
No, Engineer Hadi directed him, because it's under his purview, to go with the person that sent us the video to locate the place. And they went there, they located the place. But, we're handicapped in the sense that we couldn't get the number, the way the thing was, we couldn't get the number of that Sienna. So if we had gotten the number, probably
because it was the side of the car that we saw.
Yeah, we have used it to probably get the owner of the vehicle and trace the person. But I believe this having circulated in social media, because that's the power of social media. Probably it will get to a group where the person belongs to, and those people will be able to identify him.
the end of this problem precisely is weak and poor criminal system, criminal laws. The punishment, when caught, is not enough to deter people from it. It's just like a slap on the wrist.
What's the punishment now?
I don't know. I don't want to dive into that area, but all I know, based on the few ones I know, like the man you're talking about now, if he's found and convicted, I don't think it's judged. It's maybe 2 months or a week imprisonment or equivalent of 500 naira or 2,000.
That's disappointing.
Yes.
For something that costs us money.
Let me give you the example of the scavengers. Right now, they are banned in Abuja. If you are caught,
scavengers are banned?
Yeah.
I saw a scavenger this morning in front of my house.
I'm just telling you. Of course, that they are banned doesn't mean they are not existing.
We'll see them.
If you are caught and taken to court and convicted, the charges is no more than 2,000 thereabout.
They rummage through your rubbish every morning.
The moment you are taking him there, his colleagues are there standing by to pay for him. So that's not, as I say, it's a slap on the wrist. It's not enough.
Because I'm not going after a scavenger. He probably has a knife.
I would like to contribute to the effect on the society. Apart from the health implications and any other, the accidental implications. Like some of these chambers, manholes you are talking about. Like you have some stormwater manhole, foul manhole that are up to 6 meters deep.
Yeah.
When you mistakenly fall in there, so the probability of surviving is very, very remote. Then, as at the time he mentioned, we had the last time we did an auditing of what has been stolen in middle of 2021. We need about 2.something billion naira to replace them. 2.6 billion naira to replace them. And the money is so much now that you can anything you do, you can do it. But positive, you can't just get that kind of money to replace all of them immediately. Now, if you get the money,
realize the money comes from us.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The money comes from our taxes.
If you use the money, you would have used in building new infrastructure.
To replace stolen one.
To replace stolen one. Check it. Or even consider that 2.6 billion naira. If you use it to upgrade the hospitals in satellite towns in the FCT, don't you know the impact it will have on those? The kind of medical care it will give to people. Like the issue of street light now, if you remember along where we call Ring Road 2, that road that comes from Katampe through the big roundabout at Life Camp down. This solar power street light panel.
Because that
road that leads to Gwarimpa.
It's still work in progress. We installed a solar power.
Yes,
that was done by the government.
It was done by government
because I noticed that those lights came on some time back, and in my mind I was
they have cut all of them. They are cutting them and they are taking them away.
They're chiseling them down.
They're chiseling them down.
They're taking them down.
Those lights that are along that Gwarimpa Road.
Yes, that's if you watch, you see they are cut neatly.
They'll cut it neatly and remove the panel.
Remove the panel.
It's a terrible thing.
So that brings the question: isn't someone managing this place? Because that's the question. If I look around my neighborhood and I see these things, I can tell that these things are being vandalized. I can tell that this traffic light was vandalized.
That's where the seasonary comes.
So, isn't there a management of this city? We know that your office is very busy. Your office is in charge of the master plan. Isn't there someone that is manning this infrastructure so that they are not stolen? Or is it just security agencies have to do their job? Is that what FCDA is telling us today?
You see, let me come in here now. You see, the managers of the city are there. You have the city managers. You understand? They are there and they are working incidentally to forestall this stealing of infrastructure. We have not come up with the one we are replacing. Those are manhole covers are not what we are replacing. We are now using materials that don't have second-hand value.
Okay.
And when we use them,
you're thinking outside the box.
We now log them. You understand? So even if you make efforts to steal them, it will take you time. And by the time you steal one, and you find out that the person you are buying, what is this? Is of no use. You won't come back to steal another one. So the ones we have replaced now, they can't even steal them. One, they are locked. Secondly, the materials don't have second-hand value. Some of the materials are made of composites.
Yeah, they are made up of composite material. And an attempt to smell them will turn to ashes.
So it will have no value to you. You understand? But at the end, the city manager, he monitors and sees that this is, and he tries to replace them. And the people, security people have to secure them. He can't come in the night and start securing all these things. It's not his job.
Security people are not securing these things.
We're not saying that.
We're not saying that, but they should up their game.
Yeah.
Because that one at Grandpa is pretty disappointing.
They should up their game.
So what's going to be done? Because that's a very long stretch of road and very prone to accidents. It doesn't have a dual carriage or anything.
No, it's work in progress.
And it's a winding road.
Yes.
So those lights were actually a blessing when I saw them. I thought it was the people in the neighborhood that put up the solar lights. So it's your office.
Yes.
Now, what's been done? If someone is chiseling, that's serious. If someone is chiseling those things down, what's the solution?
My responsibility or the authority's responsibility is to install and maintain these facilities.
But securing
is that of the security agency.
I don't have gun. We don't have gun. It's the security agency that's supposed to help us secure it. I'm sorry to say we don't have database. Yeah, because we had an incident some 2-3 years ago, the pedestrian bridge. We installed a solar street light there with camera. Do you know what they do? They go there and you face the camera. And remove it.
Because they know that there's no database that can capture this person's face. You can't trace them.
You can't trace them. How much do you trace? Even the one that you think you know, is it Gwagwa or Karimu you are going to? It's so difficult.
No address.
It's so difficult.
So I'm going to ask you.
But then, we just have to go that route. Meaning, we need more surveillance and citizenry participation. That will enable the security agent to do their work perfectly.
We do have to wrap it up there. I know this is a conversation that will continue, but I want to thank both of you, Engineer Jato and Engineer Broda, for being with us this week on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with the mountain of work you have ahead of you.
Thank you
very much, Magwa.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Unlocking private sector investments to finance the infrastructure deficit is crucial if Nigeria is to bridge its infrastructure gap. It's a gap that will need at least 30 years to fill. And destroying what little infrastructure we have right now is making things worse. We cannot continue to accuse the government of not providing basic infrastructure while at the same time we steal or vandalize what infrastructure is in place. It is counterproductive. The key is to see these vital assets as ours and treat them as such. That's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Magwa. See you next time.